So my name is Margie Davenport. I'm a professor in the Faculty of Kinesiology, Sport and Recreation at the University of Alberta. I've been conducting research with pregnant and postpartum women looking at physical activity and exercise for the last 20 years. The development of the 2019 Canadian Guidelines for Physical Activity throughout pregnancy was a 3-year process with a pan-Canadian panel of experts from midwives to physicians to researchers, and we also included input from pregnant women as well. We conducted 12 systematic reviews and meta-analyses looking at a wide variety of different health outcomes, and what we found was that being physically active for accumulating 150 minutes of moderate intensity physical activity over 3 or more days of the week was associated with a significant reduction in the odds of developing preéclampsia, which is high blood pressure during pregnancy, as well as gestational diabetes, which is developing a form of diabetes during pregnancy, that these risks were reduced by approximately 40%, and we found that there was no increased risk of having a small baby, early baby, or having a miscarriage during pregnancy. The 2019 Canadian Guideline for Physical Activity throughout pregnancy encourages engagement in physical activity from conception right up to delivery for those who do not develop medical conditions or contraindications to exercise during pregnancy. We recommend accumulating 150 minutes of moderate intensity physical activity spread over 3 or more days of the week. This would include a combination of aerobic and also resistance training. We importantly encourage all pregnant women to engage in pelvic floor muscle training during pregnancy to reduce the risk of developing urinary incontinence. Now, there's been lots of questions about the types of activities that you can and cannot do during pregnancy, and so we included a recommendation that if you are doing supine exercise or exercise flat on your back while you're pregnant and you experience signs of dizziness or feeling unwell while you're doing the exercise on your back, that you just sit up, raise the incline just a little bit, or roll over to your left side to do the activity. So we see up to 20% of women will experience some form of complication during their pregnancy, whether it's developing diabetes in pregnancy, which is called gestational diabetes, or developing high blood pressure during pregnancy, which is called either gestational hypertension or preeclampsia. But the good news is, while these conditions are relatively common, that physical activity and exercise during pregnancy can reduce the risk of developing these complications by about 40%. So low back pain is surprisingly very common during pregnancy, but the important thing is if you are experiencing low back pain or pain in the pelvic region, it's really important to go and speak to your physiotherapist or healthcare provider to get it checked out. However, pain does not mean injury, and so it's important that you continue to be active during your pregnancy as long as the pain is not so strong that it's completely limiting your activity. We have a growing appreciation for the importance of resistance training during pregnancy. While most original studies were really based on walking or maybe going for a swim, data is now suggesting that if you continue to strength train or resistance train during your pregnancy, that you can help to prepare yourself for post-delivery. We know that you're going to come out on the other side with a baby that you're going to have to carry with a very heavy car seat, and so actually preparing for your activities of daily living as a new mom is going to be really important, and resistance training is a key component of that. Pregnancy can be a really wonderful time in a person's life. It can also be a period where they have increased anxiety or stress and potentially even depressive symptoms. But the data is now suggesting that being physically active during pregnancy can help with both your physical and your mental health. And so it's a really good idea to consider pregnancy and exercise during pregnancy as an opportunity, not a time of restriction. The important thing to remember with physical activity and exercise during pregnancy, there are going to be days that you may feel unwell, overtired, and maybe even sick. On those days, listen to your body, take it back a notch, take the time to recover. But the important thing is returning to physical activity and exercise when you feel able.